Buddhist monk once said that you cannot appreciate a perfect sphere for its completeness if it doesn't have a little scratch somewhere in its surface. Well, Italian engineers must have thought the same thing when they designed the Ducati 916 SPS, because for all its greatness, it does have some features that I find rather unusual. In 1998, the 916 SPS was the most trick Ducati you could buy. A limited edition World Superbike homologation special. But it's not perfect. I'm not going to get into the fact that it's impractical or expensive or uncomfortable. That just comes naturally with a classic Ducati. No, there are other things which might surprise you. At first glance, you might think, yes, I finally got my 916. But you haven't, because this is a 996. You may remember that Ducati liked to name their bikes after the displacement of the engine, and this one has 996 cubic centimeters. But there already is a 996, you say? Yes, there is. So this original official 996 is not the real one? No, it is the real one, except for the 996R, which is actually a 998. So they just keep getting bigger? No, because the 999 is also a 998, except for the 999R, which is really a 999. But then the 1098 is a 1099, and the 1199 Panigale really is an 1198. But don't confuse that with the official 1198, because that one has a totally different engine. I wouldn't want to be doing inventory at Ducati. Let's say you bought this bike at the end of the season, when used bike prices usually go down. Then later, maybe at New Year's, you're having some friends over and you want to impress them with your new purchase. So you take them down to your garage, you press the starter button and nothing happens. Well, not exactly nothing, because you will hear the starter motor riding in pain until the battery eventually dies, and your friends tell you, don't worry, it can happen to anyone. You see, you tried to start her when she was cold, she's Italian, she's expensive, and she doesn't like that. I talked to the dealership and they told me, you really have to get a feeling for the starting procedure, because every single SPS is just a little different. You know, character and all. It's fun. Now let's get to my favorite part. Imagine you just come home from a great ride. You're pretty exhausted because, let's face it, this thing can be a bit of a workout. You roll into your garage thinking about getting to your couch and nothing else. You try to extend the side stand and then this happens. I know practicality is an afterthought with this bike, but what in the world is this? You just bought a super rare special machine, and every time you die in fear of breaking something that you maybe can't even replace anymore. You want to see how I do this? It's just like one of those supercars that you can't get out of without losing your dignity. For many, the Ducati 916 is one of the most beautiful machines ever made. I just wish they'd taken the same care applying the logo in 1998. And that year, Ducati got a new owner and they introduced a new font. Now the logo itself looks really cool and it still works today. It just seems to me that when they first used it, they didn't quite know what to do with it, because they squeezed it in the tiniest possible place on the fairings, not for example here where there's a lot of room, and they didn't even bother to put anything on the tank. I imagine it went something like this.
Hey Luigi, do you come for lunch? Mario, can't you see? They gave me a new logo and I don't know where to put it. But Luigi, we're having spaghetti alla mamma, and did you see our new cook Francesca? She is pretty. Okay, I'm coming.
This being an SPS, it uses a lot of carbon fiber, from the front mudguard to the airbox and the exhaust. It seems at the end of the process they still had some of that carbon fiber left over, and they applied it to the license plate holder. Why is that weird? Well, carbon fiber really only makes fractions of a second of difference. Where do you need that? On track. And when you go to the track, which are the first parts that you remove? If you've been following my channel, you know I adore the 916. And this SPS just takes it to another level. What I wasn't aware of, however, is that they actually applied Buddhist principles in making it. And it's true, all these little faults just make me love it even more. Now how about you? Which little foibles does your bike have? And do you love it nonetheless? Tell me in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Donnie Desmo, out.
Is it running?
Yeah.
No, because the 999 is also a 998, except for the 998. Well, not exactly nothing, because you will hear the starter motor writhing in pain until the battery eventually dies. Forget it, I got stuck. The font and the logo itself is good, and it's still in use today. It just seems to me that when it, what I didn't know, however, that they actually